right, I think we got, yeah, everybody's here. So Jack turns out couldn't make it, so I'm vice chair, at least until February. So I'm just going to run the meeting. Bear with me. I never run meetings. But we've got a lot to cover tonight. So I guess first thing we need to do is, anyways, I'm calling us to order at 6:42. Is there anybody who has any issues with the agenda? Okay, we'll declare that approved by unanimous consent. We also need to have folks who are on remotely introduce themselves. So why don't I just call on people so it won't be a big mess? Sarah, why don't you introduce yourself?
Yep, Sarah Carter.
Okay, Carrie.
Carrie Brown.
Kim.
Kim Cheney.
Bob.
Bob Gross.
Adrian.
Adrian Gill.
Ron. Ron, can you introduce yourself? Nope, we don't hear you. I think you're muted. Yeah, you're definitely muted. I see the little mute sign. Okay.
You hear me now?
Yes, yes, we got you. Just introduce yourself if you would.
Still Ron Wild.
Okay. Val.
Val Lewis.
Okay, and Mary.
Mary Hooper.
Oh, look at that. We're all introduced. Okay, great. So let us get on to the hearings, and we're going to start with 5G, Margaret Murray, because she needs to leave early to catch a ride. So she's the second to last one in your packet. And looks like we just have the form from her. Margaret, why don't you come on up and sit at the table where there's a mic? There's one at the table you can use so you can be sitting.
Did do today was prepare a packet. They said it could be up to 25, and I thought I'm making 6.
You don't happen to have it electronically, do you? So I could send it to the folks who.
What?
You don't happen to have a copy of it like on email or something that I could send to the folks who aren't here, who are online?
I can do it next Tuesday. Sorry,
Okay.
I don't have computer help until Tuesday.
Mhm. Okay. Well, I would let it be your choice then. We wouldn't be able to have another meeting before town meeting day.
Yes.
So, I mean, if you want to get that information to everybody, we
Yeah.
could wait and schedule a meeting after town meeting day, or you can just go ahead and talk about what's in the packet.
Okay.
What?
I'm
can you do
surprised
that
you folks
quickly?
can't scan it.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll get it. We'll really quickly scan it and email it out to
Okay.
everybody.
Thank you. All right.
Marty's on the move. It'll just take
Thank
a
you.
second.
Is this working?
Yeah, I'll have to swear and I'll just wait until.
Thank you. Is this working? I
Yes,
can't
I'm
tell.
sure
Thank you.
you all can hear her, right?
Yes.
Here you go. All right, just a sec, folks. Well, I guess we might as well swear you in.
Thank. Oh, okay.
So if you would raise your
Okay.
hand. Do you swear that the testimony you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
You're sworn in.
Okay.
So just so folks know, minutes are being taken. Carrie is acting as secretary. Thank you, Carrie. And yeah, Carrie, if you would note that the witness has been sworn in. We could get started, but I think it's probably a good idea to wait until that packet is available to everybody.
Presentation.
Well, I was wondering about that. Yeah, Margaret, why don't you go ahead and start your presentation, and I'll get that packet sent out to folks while you're
Well, he's almost, yeah, here
talking.
he is. Thank you. Okay, hi. My name is Margaret Murray. I live at 150 Elm Street. I cannot believe I've owned this property for 49 years. It was hit with the flood. I was very fortunate, and I was the first house on Elm Street that did not have to take out my first floor. And it came about 3 inches shy of that. So the main thing is that apparently I have a tenant upstairs who didn't realize that the toilet running all the time and she could not flush it was a problem she needed to bring to my attention. And she didn't bring it to my attention until she could no longer stand the sound of rushing water with the 2 doors closed between the bathroom, the kitchen, and the bedroom. So there's a $4,000 bill, which is normally what water costs me for a year. That's currently being, abated or asked for abatement? What I did in this packet was try to show that that because of the flood, my income dropped tremendously. I still have a 3-bedroom apartment that has not been able to be lived in because the work that was done on it had to be replacing both the heating system as well as the electrical system, as well as the hot water system. And there's a electrician who hasn't shown up since something like last April or May, who I've been writing to Vermont Efficiency to see if they could help me encourage him to come back and finish what I think is about 3 hours work. And the reason it needs to be finished is it was started by that electrician. And if you've ever had an example where somebody starts a job and then you have to hire a second person to finish it, anything that goes wrong is the other person's fault. So I'd like to avoid that. So we've been waiting for this one electrician for a long, long time.
Mhm.
What I included in here were copies of my, I think this is my state income tax. It's about 4 pages down.
Excuse me one moment. Has everybody received that packet? Okay.
It,
Did you send it by email?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you can continue.
no, it's okay. But I believe it's showing the federal adjusted gross income was $3,744 last year. And the Vermont taxable income was $2,732, which left me with a whopping $85 due on federal on Vermont taxes. because the income was so grossly affected, I received a refund from the Department of Taxes for $1,652, which was applied, I understand, equally against all 4 payments. And I didn't realize that at the time. I'm trying to think of when this came. This didn't come until November. At some point, I know I paid the taxes and they were wrong.
Mhm.
I still owe them property taxes like 900. I don't really remember exactly. And we'll catch up with that this month, not this month, next month. About the 8th page down is where it's showing the sewer and water bill, which was due December 15th for $4,128. I included the tax pages for 2023, 2024, indicating each of the payments should have been $2,291 and change. That's a change from last year from about 1,500. And actually, that was part of the mistake I made. I didn't have a copy of the bill with me. And I was pulling into the back at whatever day the taxes were due. And it was getting dark, and again, I can't drive when it's dark. It's like, hey. So I think I made it for what was last year's amount, which was 1,500 and change. This is the letter I received in November from the city of Montpelier saying that they were divvying it in the four different payments. And what I should have paid was 1,820 and change. And as I said, I paid 15 and something and change. I did include last year's sewer and water bill just to show the difference, because I was astonished when I got a bill for 4,000, because I was unaware that a toilet had been apparently dribbling for that apartment was inspected in June, because they only moved in July of 2023. So as of June of 23, there was nothing wrong. And then there was something wrong. The next page shows here's the payment for the property taxes for it was 1,568 that I paid. Sorry. The next page shows a note saying I can apply for abatement again. I believe that I had applied for abatement years and years and years ago when the water meters were first put in. I was unaware that they had been put in.
Yeah, you last applied for abatement in 2021 is what I have.
Oh. Was that 2020? Don't remember.
Yeah.
Sorry. Can I have a picture?
Well, I have a copy of the minutes here.
Can I have that?
It's the only one I've got, but I
Oh.
can give it to you when
Okay,
as soon as you're finished with your
Okay.
testimony.
all right. Because I remember Bev saying something to the woman when I was asking in the office that she thought I had received abatement before.
Well, you received an abatement for just the taxes. Let's see, the statement is suspend the accrual of any further interest or penalties for 6 months in the hopes that your house would sell in that period.
Yes.
But the current taxes at the time were not abated.
Okay. How much were they at that time?
I don't have that since they
Oh, okay.
were
All right.
not abated. I therefore do not have it.
Okay. All right. So I was just asking that they not pile on more with the interest and,
There was some issue with you were waiting for a house to sell,
yeah,
so that you could pay for it.
that didn't happen.
Okay.
In this time, because the electrician has chosen to disappear, or whatever his problem is, I've also having to heat both my side of the house as well as the vacant side of the house. And what I have on this packet are the two most recent Green Mountain Power bills. They're both being sent to me at apartment one, but they are designated. One is me as apartment one, and the other bill is me, and then it shows as apartment two. And that includes my understanding is the hot water heater they put in was put in the basement, which I didn't know. And it's a hybrid. That's the word they use, a hybrid. It's partially heat pump and electric. When it gets too cold, it goes to electric. The next page has something about I did have flood insurance for the flood.
Okay.
I really would have been sunk if I hadn't. This is a letter I sent to FEMA. It's not in the packet, but I found it afterwards. In July 5th of 2024, which was last year, I sent a letter saying I'm contesting my flood damage decision. I have receipts in here for $80,000.
So what the board is going to be interested in knowing is your actual ability to pay. So I guess is your testimony that paying taxes is a hardship for you, or that it's literally you are unable to pay it with your other bills?
I was originally expecting that the apartment next door would be rented as of last June at the latest.
Mhm.
Because the last time, as I said, I was unaware that they had put the hot water heater in the basement. And the heat pump guys came in, think it was March, might have been April, got it done neatly, came in, took care of, left no mess behind. And the electrician also left no mess behind. And they coordinated to put the hot water heater in. And I'm thinking it was May. I'm not sure. Because I was saying we can't even clean the place without the hot water. I mean, it's more difficult.
But you are unable to pay your taxes, I guess is the question.
If my income last year was 3,000 and change, yeah.
Okay. And you're asking for an abatement of 3,500?
I thought I was asking for, I don't remember.
The form you filled out
Says
says
3,800,
says 3,500.
35. Yeah, because you're asking me, because that would bring it, I paid 750 last month.
Mhm.
And I was hoping to be able to pay the 750 this month, which is why I have to wait until next month to catch up on the property tax.
Okay.
There is income. There is, I mean, I do own the house. I owned that house outright till 3 years ago.
Mhm.
I now have $189,000 mortgage on it. And a lot of that was stuff that had been delayed. There was a lot of delayed maintenance on the house due to other reasons that had nothing to do with taxes. But I was barely seeing the light of day when the flood hit. And so that's what most of these papers are about.
Okay.
This last thing is the current flood insurance because I had taken more money as a loan from the credit union. They needed me to put in I have $190,000 coverage on the house now. I think it's the second to last page from the back. And that bill's 2,126. And of course you have to pay that in a lump. That's why most people don't get flood insurance. I was very fortunate that I had it when the flood hit. And I need
Is that the
what I really
packet, or-
would like is somebody who could help me get the electrician who should have finished in May or June A couple of suggestions were made to me. One of them said that if the guy has been paid by Vermont Efficiency, I should bring the case to the Attorney General's office. I'm sure that'll go very quickly. I'm being sarcastic. I couldn't even get into court for 2 years with tenants that packed and left with
Sure.
COVID. Not that I have, because I haven't had time or energy.
Well, do you feel like you've laid out your financial situation? Or,
I think when I give you copies of my federal and state tax form, yeah,
okay, were those in the packet?
yes.
Okay. And everybody got that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Sure.
Did you, there's some,
Pull your mic down, Rosie. I have to say.
so there's there's some not automatic abatement, but there's a small portion of the water bill because of the leak that can sort of be abated through the city staff. And I don't know if you've received that already.
No, I was told I had to go in front of the abatement board.
You didn't, it's not, that
I mean,
wasn't, we
but
were
you
looking
raised
at,
you raised that as
taxes.
one of the many troubles that you had, was that you had a very high water bill because of the leaking toilet. And so
And she didn't tell me. Excuse
I mean,
me.
it's not all of it, but there's a portion of it.
Yeah.
And so I'm curious as to whether you've asked for or received that at this point.
I didn't ask anybody in the staff. I thought I had to come to the abatement hearing.
Well, the abatement hearing, you can ask for an abatement of taxes or utility bills.
Okay.
The first stop with utility bills is to talk to the person in the office who handles billing for water.
Nobody told me that.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have bothered you if,
oh, that's the first stop. And then,
Okay.
I mean, if it's a question of water bill versus taxes, then that would be your first stop. Is that something you want to try first? And then we could take this up at another meeting if you need to amend that amount or.
I'm sorry, I was not told that there was an option of speaking with a staff member.
Mhm. Just for water. It was probably thought that you were talking about taxes. I'm
Oh,
sure that was
Oh,
probably
okay,
what was
okay, I'm
going
not-
on.
yeah.
So there's probably
If I
just a
don't understand the
misunderstanding.
system, how,
Right. Right. No, I'm sure it was.
I don't
probably
work for the city.
misunderstanding.
I sometimes feel like I do.
Bev, why don't you come up to a mic?
Sure.
No, you need to come up to a mic, unfortunately. Sorry about that.
Clarification. I'm really not sure whether she's asking for an abatement of the water sewer bill and or the taxes. Is it for both or is it just one or the other?
Right now, it's the sewer and water, because it's 4,000 and change, when it's normally in the 700 category.
Right, and the reason that Serena had told her, we do not, by policy, continue to give adjustments on water and sewer bills, which she has had.
Oh, she's had.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm
Thank you.
sorry.
You've had an adjustment on the water and sewer bill over the years in the past.
Well, that's what he's saying, and I didn't remember that, because we had asked that.
We do a one-time adjustment of 2.5 times the normal use. And my understanding from what Serena said, and I was there when she was talking with her,
Yeah.
was that she had had that before.
Yeah, I remember you raising that, but I thought Serena said that that wasn't the case. I may have misunderstood.
Mhm.
No, this is correct then, if you've already had an adjustment.
So she had asked for this one for a tax abatement.
No, this was for sewer and water.
Oh, I thought I heard you talking about the
No.
different, that you were behind on taxes and that.
Oh, no, that was just because of the confusion. I'm sorry,
Okay.
that was my, yeah.
Okay. But we do offer one time, but we don't do it
Okay.
time after time because of the
All
cost to
right.
the city.
So never mind, we're back to square one. Sorry about that.
Okay, what does that mean?
That means you can continue and folks can continue to ask you questions and your abatement request makes total sense to be here
Okay,
and you're
okay.
in the right place.
Okay, okay. the city,
Yes.
they weren't going to do it in the office.
Right,
Got
that
it.
you
Now
can
I understand the
adjust.
question.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Well, are there any other questions? Who's got questions from the, oh, I got it. No? Any questions from the board?
So John, you said earlier during the presentation that there had been a request for an abatement that had been denied. And Bev just said we can't grant multiple abatements, so I'm a little confused.
No, that's an adjustment. She's referring to an adjustment to the water bill.
Right.
That's a one-time adjustment that can be made if there's an issue with the water bill. I was referring to a September 2021 request for a tax abatement. So there are two different things. One is in the past and is taxes, and the other one is current and is water.
Okay, thank you.
I see Mary has a question.
Yes, I am now very lost.
Thank you.
The packet that we received previously, I believe, was a request for a tax abatement. Now, several times the requester has referred to sewer and water abatement as what the request is before us today. So I don't know what the request is.
I'm sorry if I was unclear. It's clearly the sewer and water. It's
So
a 4,000.
You are not asking for an abatement of your taxes.
No,
Okay, that's not what the package says that we received. It says that we're looking, unless I'm in the wrong place, but
Well, it looks like for whatever reason, she did receive an old version of the form, which I can see how it's more vague than the current form that we use. So that could have led to some of the confusion.
so can we have restated what the request is?
I have a bill for 4,000 and change. Because the tenant did not tell me she had a problem with her toilet and only told me after she said she couldn't sleep when she closed the doors between the bathroom, the kitchen, and the bedroom. So that's how much the water was running. 77, between 650, 750.
Thank you.
That's why, I'm sorry, thank you, excuse me.
Yeah.
And that's why I included the 23 bill. So you could see that it was much different.
And would the staff please remind us of if a reduction in the water and sewer bill has been given in the past?
Well, I'm so confused now too. I really would like to take a couple of minutes, well, take more than that, to run to the office and review Margaret's account.
Okay.
Okay. Well, it sounds low, like it has been given in the past.
There have been multiple abatements for different things in the past.
Well, I mean, she has received a water and sewer adjustment.
I just want to verify that. That's my understanding.
Okay.
Serena, as you know, is going to be taking over my position. And so, you know, and she's very knowledgeable about the water and sewer billing and but I just, I said to her, check to see, I believe we've made a water and sewer abatement before, or adjustment, not abatement, adjustment, used the wrong word. And I think that's when she said to her, the only option you have would be now because you've had an adjustment before. But I may have understood her, and that's why I say, I don't know whether Margaret can stay long enough that I can go check the records and you could do another one that might be quicker during that time. That's up to you.
David and Dara Ellison.
Well, maybe we should do that. We should go on with somebody else and then we'll come back to you. We can come
I
back to
can't
you
stay.
fairly quickly.
I can't stay.
We
sorry.
can we come back to you with 20 minutes work? We can probably. We can, and maybe we should just continue this to another meeting.
I think that's what you have to do. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. So we'll do that. The next meeting will have to be after town meeting day. But we'll be in touch with you about that.
Thank you. I'm really sorry.
Well, that's quite all right.
No.
So
John?
she won't
And-
be suffering any additional penalties while we delay a decision.
Oh,
right?
yeah, no, they added on and added on and added on. I'm sorry.
It's on hold.
It's on there now, but it's abated as of the time she brought. I'm not abated, using those terms here.
It would need you to
We
come
will
up.
go back. and
You,
do-
they can't hear you, Bev. I'm sorry. You need to be at the mic.
Oh, you got too loud anyway. We have and will go back to the date she filed for an abatement. And all fees from that point on. will
Oh,
be
okay, okay.
Stayed.
All right, then let's go with another meeting.
Okay.
because I can't stay, I'm sorry.
It's quite all right.
I barely got
Okay,
to
and-
tonight.
John?
Mhm.
You had shared with the board a form that summarized income. In rather than having all of these documents that have been, and I don't know if as a board we're going to use that, but if we are going forward, would it make sense to ask the appellant to fill out that form so we all have the same consistent presentation of the information?
Yeah,
And
we can
I'm
get her.
just wanting to raise that now while she's here so that,
Okay,
Yeah, we
I-
can get her a copy of the new form.
I
for
didn't
sure.
Okay.
use that form because.
No, we have a new form.
No, it doesn't matter. I didn't use the form because I already had the taxes papers. Those taxes are not done by me. They're done by an outside person.
Okay. The form is just laying out your assets and your liabilities so they can.
I've already given you an enormous amount of information
Okay.
and it's.
Well, you're not required to fill out any form in
No,
particular.
it's not that. It's that.
Does that form ask for whether or not they own other,
I own a house in Burlington, which has been in court with the city of Burlington for years. And when I bought the house, there was no indication in the land records that I knew there had been a gas station. But there was no indication that there were any environmental problems. We have fought for at least 15 years now.
Mhm.
Because the city and the state both would know that it was not my gas station or the land I own that used to have a gas station.
Sure.
There's a gas station on the corner in which they've caught the owner at least 5 times in the
think we
time
need to
this
move
house.
on.
Yeah, we'll
Thank you,
be.
but we've
Bye.
got a-
Yeah, we'll be able to take care of that when you come back in, and Sarah will be in touch.
Thank you.
Okay. So the next one we have is an assessor correction, Dennis Delamico, which was pretty straightforward. I don't know if anybody, I don't have particular knowledge of it. But there's an email from Jane. And so this is a request. I don't know if Marty, you have anything to say about it.
That was just a,
John, give me the name of the,
Delamico?
okay, thank you.
that was a simple, that was a mistake. Where he was being charged an incorrect non-residential tax rate going back to 2020. So the total refund ends up being $397.25.
Is there a motion or are there any questions?
So moved.
Approve the refund, Delamico for $397.25 based on the presentation.
Second.
Second? All right. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I,
All opposed? All right. Passes. Thank you very much. So the next one is Evan Richards, who you all heard involved a fire. I'm sure you've looked at the material or probably remember it, but the board had some questions. So we continued it to this meeting. Is Evan here? I don't see. Evan, are you online?
If not, can we move that to the end?
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. In case it shows up. All right, we will move Evan to the end. All right, the next is Lily and Brian Kane. I think I see Lily online.
Hi there.
Hi. So let me swear you in here. If you would raise your hand. See if you're raising it. Can't look at the oath and you at the same time.
we are.
There we
We
go.
are.
Great. Um, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
I do.
Great, thanks. So we've got the materials. Why don't you tell us what you're asking for?
So we're asking for, based on the damage and destroyed property, we're asking for an abatement of 50% of the real estate taxes for our property.
Mhm. Okay, you want to go into some detail about, let me get to your form here. Okay, because you are asking, yeah, real estate or personal property lost or destroyed during the tax year. And you're asking for $3,790.26 in abatement, is that correct?
Yes, we are.
Is there anything you want to add, or should I just open it up for questions and the board can ask you what your situation is?
Tell the backstory.
I think, well, do you want us to repeat the backstory? You have the letter. I don't want to repeat if you don't need to, but I can.
That's really up to you or the pleasure of the board. I think it'd probably be good to hear a little something from you.
Okay. All right. So we bought this property, and it was a duplex, and we wanted to be able to make it into a nice property to rent it out. And we closed on it while we were away, came home, and my husband opened the door, and the water was gushing. The ceilings were on the floor, all the way down to the basement. Evidently, the people had been out of the house for maybe up to a year. It's kind of gray still. Our neighbor is kind of giving an idea. The real estate broker kind of knows, but they don't quite know. But they do know that the heat had been off, the water had been off. And then just before we closed on it, the realtor, again, we're away, tested it to make sure the water did turn on and that the heating system in one unit was not working, but in the other unit, they did turn it on and turned it on, left it on. But then the seller called Greenmont Power and turned off the electricity, which then, of course, turns off the furnace. And last year, end of February, we had that very, very cold spell and it broke a water pipe, and that's when the water started gushing everywhere. So it took what was going to be just a nice little pickup to get it ready to go within a month or 2 months to get it ready to go. It was completely, all the ceilings had to be redone, all the walls had to be done, all the floors had to be done.
And I want to mention to the board really quickly that there was a change in the law that I was unaware of, should have been recently. I looked back at our decisions and it doesn't impact any of our decisions, but going forward, the ones we've made, but going forward, the criteria for granting a utility request like this is if the situation was caused by circumstances that were difficult to foresee or outside of the person's control. So that's the quote from the legislation.
So it looks like there's actually two requests. There's one for the water bill as well as for the taxes on the property because the property was damaged. That's what it says at the end of the letter.
Okay.
Correct. We were, I worked with Serena, and she explained that it was like Bev was saying, that they could charge 2.5 times what the normal bill had been. And so it was ending up being over $800 still, even though nobody was in the house for over a year.
Okay, gotcha. So are there any questions from the board?
Yeah, Bob Gross, I have a question. When we're talking about the taxes on the house, when part of it's destroyed, but the land value is still there, do we ignore the land value? Or in other words, does someone still have to pay taxes on their land?
Well, you can parse the two out. You can for your consideration. The board actually has very broad latitude in that regard. So it would be your call. And that land information, well, I might let Marty describe the property here, if you know it offhand. 46 Phillips.
Nope.
No, that's our residence. So this is 19 First Avenue.
Sorry, 19 First Avenue.
Yeah.
Well, in any event, I believe on here is it distinguishes the land from the residence. So
But you don't need to do that because it's not total. So what's the point of that?
it's just informational. I think Bob would want to know, but
Well, what I'm saying is if the house was totally destroyed, we'd still have taxes on the land. Is that correct or am I mistaken?
yeah, that's correct.
So the amount that they're asking is for half the entire property. And I can't remember what I saw for the value of the land, but maybe Marty could tell us.
$1,100 for the land. I don't know if you heard that.
Could you all hear that?
No,
Oh, it's $121,100 for just the
what,
land.
but what's the tax amount on the land?
We'll let him do this. He knows it better than me.
And then I have a question about the water bill when we circle back around to that.
Roughly $3,200 on the land.
So what does that leave then? Does anybody have a calculator? One up.
Roughly $9,048.
So they're asking for 50% of the residential portion of that?
The total bill.
Sorry, how long was it vacant? Or was it uninhabitable?
So
When we purchased it, it had not been lived in for a year.
Sorry, that's not what I
and-
was trying to ask. How long after it was damaged was it uninhabitable?
Yeah, so that's what I was attempting to answer. And this was going to be approximately a 2-month process from the time that we had purchased it in February to the time that we would have been able to rent both units. But with the water damage that came from that leak, one apartment was 5 months to be able to do major construction, and the other one was 6 months.
Any other questions?
Well, just back to the water bill.
Okay.
So,
While we were waiting, but go ahead.
well, the applicant said that, observed that the bill was really high for a residence that had been empty for a year. And I'm just trying to get my timelines. They purchased the property and then it sat for a year? Or
No.
No, it was previous in the water usage, the majority of the water usage, really all the water usage from the time that we bought it until we finally were able to rent it in September was that leak. Because after the leak happened, we didn't run the water. for the entire time that the construction was happening. I don't exactly recall how many thousands of gallons ran during that break, but that was the use of the water.
I'm sorry, I'm still not following. It happened when you owned the property?
Yes.
Yeah, it was vacant for a year before that.
That's my
Roughly,
question.
that's, yeah, it was vacant about a year before that.
But the leak happened after you took possession.
Correct.
But
Before we saw the house,
so how long was that? That's what I'm trying to understand.
so we,
Probably a 5 to 6 day period from the break of the water, which we know from the date of the of a freeze that happened at the end of February last year to the time that I walked in the door as the first owner, with water gushing down, ceilings with sheetrock being down from ceilings, with sheetrock being down on walls, with floors being warped completely. So yeah, it was quite a first walk-in for a new landlord or for
Right.
a new
So,
owner.
so the usage that you were charged for is roughly a week's worth of uncontrolled water flow.
Correct.
Is that right? Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Mary? Oh, I'm sorry. Tim had his hand up first.
Sorry, just a question. So it looks like from the letter from Brian and Lily, they received the water bill. They received a one-time adjustment of $862.09. So they've
Yeah.
received the one-time adjustment. And as part of what they're asking for an additional $726.17 on water and sewer. Is that correct?
That's what I understand. Is that correct, folks?
yes,
So when you closed on the house, when you bought it, wasn't the water to that house shut off?
yes, and they turned it on just on the day, like the day of the closing, they turned it on to test it.
Okay.
And that's, they
And you
left it
and
on,
it
that's,
just leaked and leaked.
it didn't really leak, it froze, the pipes froze because Green Mountain Power had turned off the electricity.
Mary, you have a
This,
question? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, this is, the seller contacted Green Mountain Power, and had them just turn off the electricity, and
That's pretty normal.
I guess so, yes, but we didn't know that at the time.
Yeah.
That's why it was like, that was our mistake of not knowing, and our realtor's mistake for not telling us, hey, you've got to switch the power over to your account.
Mary?
Yeah, thanks. This is a rough situation for you all. I'm sorry you went through it. I'm still trying to figure out what kind of timelines. So you took possession of the property, and for one apartment could not use it because of rehab for about 5 months, or you couldn't rent it for about 5 months, and the other you could not rent for about 6 months, which strikes me as, I'm calling it half the tax year. But if I understand correctly, so you have then been able to rent the property or use the property. You had use of the property after 5 and 6 months. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And you're asking for an abatement of 50% of your property tax.
Right, so it was, yeah, I tried to do it in a simple way of saying we were out for half the year.
Got it. Thanks.
But listen, we
I
trust you
understand.
folks.
Yeah.
We trust you folks to come up with what's fair. It was out of service. The property was way more damaged than when we actually bought it. So the money that we put into it was much more than we ever expected having to put into it.
Great. Thank you.
So I think maybe what Bob might have been getting at was we take the total tax bill, subtract the land amount, which Marty said was results in a tax bill for just the house of $9,048. And then we split that in half to abate by 50% in order to account for the fact that the house was not inhabitable for half a year. Is that where you were going, Bob?
I thought they were asking for 6 months on one part and 3 months on the other. So I don't know if that's half the year.
I think I heard 6 months on one and 5 months on the other.
Yeah, I'm just looking at what's printed on the paper there. It could be 5, it could be, I can't read it too well. I don't know if anybody has a better copy.
It looks like 6 months for unit B and 3 months for unit A. If
Right.
we're reading the same form.
Correct. And then the water and sewer of the $800.
And the water and sewer, we said we already had, that was already abated or adjusted.
It was already adjusted to 2.5 times the
Right.
maximum amount or whatever.
That was an administrative adjustment, and they're seeking an additional abatement to the level of just the service fee, the standing service fee that we all pay before there's any usage calculated.
So Marty, what would the amount be if we had 6 months of B and 3 months of A, less the land, plus the abatement?
I think you're getting a little deeper into the weeds than we need to be. I mean, I guess you just split it in half. I mean, we'd have to break it down monthly.
No, that's what we've done for others.
But I think, don't they already have it broken down with the request sheet?
Yeah.
It's already broken down on their request sheet, I think.
So those would be split roughly in half. Is that what you're saying? Cover the,
I really broke it down because one is 6 months and one is 5 months.
okay.
But the application says 6 months and 3 months.
3 months. Yeah.
So there's a discrepancy. So on the actual form, it says 6 and 3, but in the letter that was submitted by Ms. Kane, it says 6 and 5.
Yeah, but if you look at their math, the 3 is half the amount of the 6 that they put in. One's 1993 and the other is 996. So it looks like they calculated it at unit A is basically half the tax of unit B.
Yep.
What thoughts do you have, folks? Anybody doing some math? And
Well, it's the difference between, I mean, if you want to do it on 6 and 3, it's 9/24 of the total.
Of the total, yeah.
Well, can we ask them what it
It's
is?
6 months
Are they
on
asking for 6 and 3?
12ths
Or are
of
they
one
asking?
and 3/12 of the other.
yeah.
And I guess if you, but you have to hold the water out on that, right? So you're just doing that part on the taxes, right? So we got 9,048 on taxes
Times.
times 0.375, which is 9/24.
You didn't know.
Somebody
I'm
faster
doing-
with their calculator. I'm very slow with my calculator.
Is 3393
3.
plus the water, 726.17. $4,119.17.
How does that come out to more than the numbers they have when I thought we were basing it on the value of the house and not the total tax bill, which includes the land?
I thought the 9,000 was just the house. Isn't that what you said, Marty?
Roughly, yeah.
Yeah.
So what's the current total tax bill?
$12,248.
Yeah, so
Sorry, what's the total you paid?
So I thought the tax bill was 7,973.
17 cents.
No, it's 12,248.72, right? Okay.
7973.
No, this is the tax bill for their house. This isn't the tax bill for
Yeah, okay.
first to have.
Confusing when we
Yeah,
get,
don't do that one.
yeah.
I was gonna say, boy, that seemed high. Okay,
It's 7,973 is on the total tax.
right.
On-
And our land probably isn't 121 on 19 First Ave. Maybe that was on our 46 Phillips Road as well.
Got two tax bills in here.
So we have a new set of numbers?
Yeah,
What's the land?
right. There's
So we
their
have the house,
residence.
the value of the house only.
For First Ave.
121,000 is the land value on First Ave.
Correct.
And the house is only 200.
The house is 260, it looks like
6929.
Well, let's take
329, excuse me.
So about 120 and 260 is 381.
What is the new value of the house only? 269?
Looks like 208,700 on the listing card, but I could be wrong.
2087?
Yeah.
And then 121, 100 for the land.
So
That equals what they have,
Right.
which is even $5,000 higher than what we paid for the house.
So what are the taxes on just the house for the year?
I think Marty had that at his fingertips here, don't you? Let me find it. I think it might be down the hall. Yeah. I think we've got
someone
he
warned
guessed.
ourselves.
Yeah. No. I could, well, somebody should, I suppose, but it might be a little awkward. Okay.
I mean, you guys, we don't have to be present for the calculations for this particular thing unless that's how it works. We
You don't
trust
have to be here for any of it, if you don't want to. I would send you a statement of what the decision was. You'd receive it.
Yeah, and I think that's fine, John. The conversation has been healthy, and it sounds like a big math problem right now. That
Well, it sounds like
14
you probably
that-
know around where we're going too.
that 14 people are trying to do all at once. So, take the breath that you need, and we don't have to be present to be able to do that. And we can wait for the communication of what your decision is.
Okay.
We trust you to make the right choice. I mean, we are, it's about 50% of whatever, and that's beyond our level of calculations. I could take it all up, but it's going to take us a long time without an Excel spreadsheet.
All right.
I mean, as long as, if you have a question, like, are we still questioning whether or not the water, the, $700, $800 water tax, would that be abated too? Is your discussion still on that? Or is it just separating the real estate from the land?
What do you think, board? Do you think we've got that?
We've been pretty strict about that in the past.
One time, yeah.
If you got the one time, unless it's like really extenuating circumstances, we typically, I think
we told them at shipping, no, she wasn't even living. The upstairs, the Shippy I building.
right, there was some
They got
related.
They got the one-time adjustment. The water was running and she was not even living there. I think we told her no.
So I guess my feeling is based on how we've handled other requests like that in the past, I would be inclined to deny the water abatement because they've already had the adjustment.
Okay, well,
Just
then would
because
you
that's-
consider, going to, like, the letter part was 50% of the real estate taxes? Instead of going 6, 3 in the water, and do the 6 months for one unit, 5 months for the other unit and not the water?
I guess we were a little confused on the units then because you'd written 3 months in the documentation and you'd specified 5 months when you were testifying. So if you want to clarify that for us, that would help.
So I tried to err on making it easier to make it one unit 6, the other one 3, and then the water part. But I was looking at an abatement for 50% of the real estate tax because one unit was 6 months out of service. The other unit was out of service for 5 months. But yeah, when you fill out these forms, you really don't know how much to ask for. And so I was that's why I was saying 50% of the taxes. And then I was trying to come up with a way to say, okay, well, do one at 6 months, the other one at 3, and then the water and sewer. But if the water and the sewer's out of the question, then I'd appreciate it if we were able to look at 6 months for the one unit, 5 months for the other unit, because those are the timeframes they were each out of service.
Okay, and you're testifying that it was 5 months for that unit and not 3 months.
Correct,
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
Okay. Count on someone else to do the math.
I feel like
because
we've
get
got
so wrapped
enough
up in the
information.
chairs. Yeah, it sounds like we have enough information.
But what is the tax on the house only? That's what we're figuring on, right?
What was the tax rate? It was like 2.69. No, we have the tax bill. We're just trying to break it out.
We do have the tax?
Yeah, it's that second one there.
Yeah, it's down in the package.
Like right after the letter.
If I trying to draw from my memory, but if the tax rate was 2.69, which I think it was pretty close to that, then taxes on just the building would be $3,761.40 based on the building assessment of 139,829.
That's half the amount, Marty?
No, that's the total amount for just the building.
I thought the building was 208,700.
I've got. Oh, you're right. You're right. Hold on. Beg your pardon.
That's okay.
Mhm. I'm glad you're here, Marty.
That would be $5,614.03.
I'm gonna go on.
Half of that would be, the 50% would be?
Well, it's 9/24, right?
2807.
24th,
Just give
okay.
me a minute here.
Half of it's about 2807, $2,807.
Yeah, I think Sal's being more precise here with that
Yes, it's
11/24.
really close to-
It's almost half.
2807, is that?
Yeah. Is it
20,
for a motion, John?
Well, I think we should probably settle on the number here.
That's what I mean. Is it 2,800? Is that what?
No, Sal's got a number.
25.73 and 10 cents.
So
It's 5614.03 times 11/24.
I like that.
Building.
you want
Would
to
someone like to make a motion?
Can I have a little clarification, please? Was that 4573.10? Is that the number?
The number is 25.73.10.
Okay, great. That makes more sense to me. Okay.
And that's about 45% of the building, basically. 45% abatement of the tax, roughly. And I will move that we abate the tax.
I will second that.
for 257310.
Second.
Did you get that, Carrie?
Get ahead of it.
Yes.
All right. Is there any more discussion? All right. All in favor?
Oh,
Aye.
excuse me, the taxes, but not the.
Any
water.
opposed? All right. Motion carries.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
You appreciate our math, though. That's the
And well, your math, the math, I'm still trying to figure out the 11 out of 24, 11 over 24, but I'm good. Thank you very much.
Thank
All
you,
right,
board.
thanks,
Appreciate
folks.
it.
All right, who we got next here? We have a couple properties, Cheris Churchill, 4 Langdon Street, a couple of water sewer charges. I had some questions about this one because it didn't quite make sense to me. So I'm hoping that the appellant is here.
Right here.
Okay. Oh, Clarice? Oh, it's just misspelled on here. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I will remember that. Well, let me swear you in real quick. Raise your hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? All right, you're sworn. All right, and tell us what's going on.
Well, as we all know, there's been a couple floods in Montpelier. We have a business, that Nails Bistro on Langdon Street, which got completely damaged.
Excuse me, can we have the mic moved a little closer?
I'm a mumbler too, sorry. I co-own Bent Nails Bistro in Montpelier. That was affected by both floods, but mostly the first one. And we were up to speed on water and sewer bill before the flood hit, and we've been struggling ever since. So I came in to try to get on a payment plan, and then was mentioned that maybe I could possibly try for an abatement. This is why I'm here. We used a ton of water for cleanup. We were closed for 3 months with no revenue. And so I'm not really sure, basically struggling to pay and hoping to get some help.
And these are both, I see in the first sheet, you indicated the date range you were talking about, which looked like, what is that, 10/24/23 to 7/7/24/24. And that range is not marked on the other sheet, but I assume it's the same.
It's about the same. We reopened at tail end of September. So I mean, willing to pay, well, business never really got better, but starting to kind of now. But there are two of them because it's separated in the building for some reason. The top floor is one water bill and the bottom floor is another one, but we released the whole thing.
I ran a quick report, and the first one, the larger one, the amount is $2,529.51. And the second one is $701.66.
For those,
For
for
the
that
two-
time period.
Yeah, for that period.
Yeah, I mean, we're whatever we can get help with them up until then. Yeah, after that we were back in business and.
Is this the total of 133.84?
Yeah. That we owe. No, just one. Yeah.
Okay, and as with the previous applicant, was there an administrative reduction already on this?
It wasn't a leak, right?
Oh, no.
It's just you didn't have income.
No, it was cleaning after the flood. We were,
Okay.
I mean, I even let somebody use our water to power spray their place to help. We were all trying to help each other.
So you're making two arguments. One is that it's higher than it normally was because of the flood, and two, that you can't pay it because you didn't have 3 months of revenue during the flood. Okay.
Yeah, it was definitely far higher. I had someone say, how come it was so high when you were closed? I said, well, because we used a lot cleaning up
I'm trying to remember how we handled businesses previously. I feel like we did something based on lost revenue, and I can't remember what we did.
I should know this. Somebody was saying something, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
The buildings we were doing a percentage of for the time that they were out of business.
We were doing
was
that on
for
property taxes, not on the,
So I'm wondering if maybe we think about it the same way. You know, she was closed down for 3 months. You know, maybe look at those 3 months that she was closed.
Well, those totals should cover that range because that was, I think that's what was specified on the,
with the businesses, did we abate the full amount of the property tax for the time periods that they were closed?
We were doing that one by floor levels. If it was a 3-unit building, we were doing a third of.
And then we were
Two,
applying.
doing half of.
right, no basements.
Taxes or water?
I know it's not exactly the same. I'm just trying to have some fairness here.
Well, I want to check it on those taxes because we reimbursed those taxes and I want to make sure he didn't get something back. No, okay.
Although we heard requests from
But not Jake.
from renters of Jacob's properties, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, but for the property taxes.
But this is a water bill.
Yeah,
I know, but I'm just.
They were granted an abatement, as I recall. Yeah.
I'm curious because we do reimburse for the property taxes and if that's something we could try for too.
Abated
Yeah.
a bunch of Jacob's properties. You sure? I feel like I remember looking at the picture of the building.
We're that was for BCA because they're grieving their assessment.
Oh, okay.
It's been a long 2 years.
Yeah.
No kidding.
All right.
So this date range begins in October of 23? On the sheet that I've got? October 24th of 2023, the year of the big flood, right?
Got to have you at the mic, Bev. I'm sorry. You can sit at the table here if you prefer, or sit up here.
Was that they were fully, she's had other payment plans with me. And I knew that there was abatements being given thing, and she's always tried and had a loss of income. And I said, hey, I have to tell you, you may qualify, you may not. But she was current through, she had paid the June tax that was due, tax that was due September 15th was current. Then we sent bills out October 28th, which is, that's the first bill shown on your 10/28 of 23, right?
10/24, yeah.
10/24.
Well, you,
I have the bill somewhere.
there was
It's in the
another
packet.
ones, yeah.
The actual.
Well, I'm just wondering, I mean, the cleanup that you did was in like July and August and September. And you're saying that those bills were extraordinarily high, higher than the bills on this list, and you paid those.
Oh, no. No, I haven't paid the high
This
bills
is the
from,
payment plan for those bills. Is that what this list is? I'm just,
this is, my understanding, this is a list of what we owe. You can explain it there. I have, maybe I can look.
I'm just trying to tie an October bill to a July flood,
Right.
you know?
I see what you're saying, yeah.
So the thing I'm looking at is that they were current till they got a bill 10/24/23 for $180.
The flood was July 23.
Right. So, and that would have covered the months of July, August, and September, because we always bill behind.
Okay,
that.
and
So it
Mhm.
started after the flood. And they weren't able to pay that first one because were you reopened in 3 months from the flood?
Yeah.
Okay.
We scrambled.
Yeah, but their income, part of is the abatement form says inability to pay, and they're struggling to pay because they had lost the revenue.
So the 180 number that you cited there is not on my list. Is it on anybody else's? Am I looking at the wrong list?
This is what she attached to the form. Page 1 of 2. Then together here. Is that page? No, it isn't this, but she's written.
There's another page in here.
This one, this one, there's another one.
There's 2 bills. There's a bill for the apartment upstairs.
Yeah, here's the one you were showing me.
Yeah, we need to make sure we have these conversations
Yeah,
around
this is-
mics, so.
So is this is the 180 when you add these two
Yeah.
numbers together? Okay, got it.
That
I
was
was looking.
business portion. This is,
Got it.
and as I understood, you weren't able to rent the apartment.
No, we didn't, we had, yeah. That
We
was,
lost the rent.
that was empty too.
Okay, no, I just wasn't finding the number because it wasn't listed as 180. It was the addition of two numbers.
Yep. Rather.
Got it. Thank
So
you.
I just thought, she was struggling to figure out a payment plan that she could make. And I knew, I struggle with this. Usually don't send out, some towns send out the abatement.
Can you use the mic?
Oh, I'm sorry. Some towns send out the abatement with the delinquent bills. I have kind of had mixed direction on whether we need to do that or not do that. But certainly when somebody comes and says they're having trouble paying the bill or something, I have made them advised of that, just as I advised some that maybe they should talk to Capstone or some other. There was another program that I was aware of that happened during COVID. So I try to make people that are struggling to pay aware of other alternatives if it's inability to pay. So I made her aware of because she'd always worked well and I thought she probably deserves some consideration for the loss of income because of the flood.
Hey, I know everyone's probably scrambling, looking at their sheets right now, but are there any questions at the moment?
Can I, and say no if this isn't germane, but following the flood, there were a number of restaurants and service places that were closed who had, used a lot of water for their cleanup. How did we treat them? I don't want to name businesses, but this can't be the first request that we've heard for someone who's looking for an abatement for their water bill due to unusual usage and loss of income during the time they were closed.
Did we get
We
any?
had the apartment, the 4-unit building on Elm Street. He had, the city they couldn't find the shut off.
I remember that.
Dr. LaFalle, Paul LaFalle's place. And I think we did a pretty big adjustment on that one, if I remember. We'd have to check the minutes. I don't remember exactly.
Yeah,
what
I'd
it
have to
was.
check, but
And
I
I want to
think we
point
did.
out, this wasn't an exceptional amount of usage. I think in the end, it wasn't as much as you used as a business or apartment when it was occupied or running. The bills were not. I'd have to verify that, but I know I didn't see it as qualifying for 2.5 times certainly, and I'm not sure it was even twice as much. I'd have to verify that with the water sewer bill.
So, but my question is still, there are restaurants up and down state and Maine. Were they granted some forbearance on paying their water bills because they were closed for an extended period?
I wouldn't know individuals if they worked something out with the city and got the adjustment or not. I don't recall that anyone asked for abatement.
No, we were just dealing with taxes.
Yeah.
But
We haven't
like-
had any water for business.
None of the businesses got water.
Just Paul LaFalle's the only one I can think of.
He did get one.
Yeah, I don't remember what we did.
I do remember hearing or seeing some on the.
Let me see if I can find out.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
I think
It's neither here nor there. The applicant is saying that they have difficulty paying, and that's the criteria that we're looking at. I was just looking for some historical background, but it doesn't affect the situation in front of us.
Can you state again how much you're looking to be abated?
I guess if I had to. I have to do a little math to do that, but, oh, do I have
If
it?
it's that one, this one, that's the total amount. I think if I'm looking at this correctly.
Yeah,
So that's the total amount. Oh, that's your total bill right now.
yeah, and I mean, we did kind of come back and we could subtract those two last numbers, but I mean, ideally it would be that.
Yeah, I think that shows.
And there may be some of the fees that due to when she filed the abatement that would, our program that we use for water sewer is very, it's a real old program. And when we have to make certain adjustments and or credits, Charlotte really has to go in manually and do them because you can't just go in and post a payment or a credit. It's got to be individual. So she might be also entitled to some fees since she filed the abatement because that actually stays the bill at that point.
Just for information, LaFalle was given an abatement of 1893.47.
But that doesn't say what that was based on, does it?
No. Does not have the
I feel like
detailed
the
conversation.
discussion about that, was that the one where the city couldn't find the shut off? I think the discussion around that centered on he'd reported it to the city and the city couldn't shut it off. And so I think some of us felt there was some responsibility on the part of the city for that one.
That sounds right. Yeah. So
But
that's,
I am kind of coming back to the fact that you are also reimbursing your landlord for the property taxes. And we did grant other businesses an abatement on their property taxes. And so, and that's not what you're asking for here, but just trying to be fair in how we have handled handled it for everybody.
Right, so did we hear a number that being requested?
yeah.
There wasn't a request, but if you add up the two of them, the total bill due right now for both units is $4,403.71, if I'm reading it correctly.
Is that correct? I don't think that was it.
One, I think you said one was 3,000, the other one is one something.
One of them is 3384.96.
Okay, I had 2529, but I'm going to trust you.
Well, that's
What's on the-
John, not just the bracketed portion.
John, were your numbers based on it adding up just the flooding months?
Yeah.
And what did you get? 32, 30?
25, 29, 51, and 701, 66.
Yeah, which is 32, 31, 17.
Okay.
But you're saying that some of that is penalty and interest that
Will automatically go away if you give her an abatement on the charges.
can you tell us how much of that?
Well, what they'll take, because it's like, if you look at it quick,
There's a bunch of.
there's a bunch of charges. I'd have to.
And I mean, the motion could be phrased in, an abatement of X, which includes.
That'd be
penalty.
minor compared to the charges. So you could just say, and as a part of the abatement, the charges for the certain period that you're going to grant it, and all fees pertinent to the charges, plus any fees that have been added since the request for abatement was filed.
I also think naming the number would be fine, if as long as in the motion it's indicated that it's inclusive of
So
those.
I will make a motion to abate on one bill, $2,529.51, plus any related taxes and fees related to that amount. And on the other bill, $701.66, plus any taxes and fees related to that amount.
Do you have those numbers, John, written down, what she's requesting?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think
Or
that
the
it'll be recorded. I want to make sure Carrie's got it. Oh, we have Tim seconded. Carrie, you got all that?
Almost, hang on one second. So Rosie moved and Tim seconded?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
All right. Been moved and seconded. Is there any more discussion?
Just, does the applicant feel her need is being addressed?
Yes, absolutely. It's the amount plus the penalties. That's perfect. It's great.
Okay,
Thank
good.
you.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Bye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, there we go. Okay,
Thank you.
System works.
For a water plant, right?
next we've got Alexander DePillis. Pull that one out. What was trying to remember what the, well, I don't need to remember. You can, let me swear you in real quick. Would you raise your hand? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do so affirm.
All right, you are duly sworn, or affirmed, rather.
You. Alex Phyllis, 15 Ewing Street. John, I emailed you after the first submission, a cover letter on about 2 days ago, the 7th, which I had failed to put in the original 20th of December packet. I looked at it and I sent all the attachments in, and then I wrote the letter itself.
I bumped that over to Sarah. Did folks get that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
okay.
you did. Great. Thank you. So people have that. I will just briefly summarize for everybody. This is the way I calculated the ask for the abatement was all about prorating the property tax and water sewer for the period we were out of the house due to the fire. So as I understand this request is under the section 1534A5 upon taxes upon property lost or destroyed during the tax year. So that's the checkbox here. Yeah, there's a hardship element here connected to not living there and the passage of time. But this is really under the not being able to live there. We read the guidance the city provided. I noted in case study 4, people examining the request of that one, which was about a barn that blew down, equated use with taxability. So we could not use our house for 14 and a half months. And there's a timeline on that cover letter there, and nor rent the apartment for 19 months, actually. So I understand from the previous applicants here that there's a bit of calculation to be done. And I was just checking my numbers, and I had calculated this request of 7,433 by prorating the property tax as I understood it. And I'll pass out that spreadsheet. And then I looked at the water sewer. That was harder to understand. I then and I did estimate it here as, so I estimated the property tax as a potential $6,200 and some potential abatement. And I estimated the water and sewer as about $1,200 potential abatement. I subsequently got the water and sewer tabulation from Serena and tried to prorate that, not including penalties or interest, and came up with a significantly lower number for the water and sewer. So any questions so far, I guess?
I understand completely why you're requesting an abatement on the house because it was damaged. I'm not totally clear why you're requesting an abatement on the water and sewer.
Well, that's a good question. I don't understand exactly how that works. I guess I need a clarification how that works. We were obviously for that period not in the house, and yet there's a whole bunch of, there's a number, big piece of billing here, approximately $300. Excuse me, no,
Is it
there
more than
is 337 days of water sewer amounting to more than $100 for a period of time we were not in the house.
was that the basic connection fees though that you were
It's the
paying?
ready to serve
Yeah.
fees, I bet, John.
Is that it?
So
Okay.
when you have all of you who are on city water and sewer, it's kind of like a telephone charge that you pay a basic charge, whether you make a long distance call or a local call or anything, there's a basic charge and then there's usage charge. So that's what with water and sewer, and that just, it was running like 130 something and it just barely went to in December when the fees went up. That basic charge is roughly $70 on each service, $70 a quarter on sewer and $70 a quarter on the water. So I'm not familiar with this account. Like I said, we've
Yeah, I
started
think I
trying,
see.
you've been working with Serena,
Well,
right?
no, I haven't basically,
Oh.
but I see now what you're saying. So there's this period here of that overlaps with the period that we were almost perfectly overlaps with the period we weren't in 1 year here.
Yeah, you were paying ready to service.
And that's
fees.
right there. That's why this billed usage is 0, but this is the
Yeah.
service fee. Okay.
That's what,
Yeah.
yeah, and that's a.
So
that's-
9/8,
that's the difference.
2022.
It's not based on-
I see. Okay. Well, that makes sense. Okay. Okay. I don't know if that answered your question, how that works, but maybe you want to.
See, the ready to serve fee covers
Yeah,
the
I understand.
infrastructure and
Yep.
costs of maintaining our
Right.
pipes and the people that have to go around reading meters.
Yeah, so that wouldn't fall under the difficult to foresee if it's the basic charge
Okay,
that you're paying.
that's fine.
Mhm.
I didn't understand that.
So if somebody is willing to do math, if we can figure out the taxes on just the house and apartment.
I would argue I couldn't use the yard either because it had the construction stuff there. I couldn't use the driveway because there was vehicles in it. There was lumber in the yard. I mean, I guess I could use the back of the yard. I mean, it's a trivial thing because it's less than a quarter acre lot. But I don't kind of care.
I guess
either way.
I'm just trying to be consistent with how
Sure,
we've handled
understood.
everybody else. So if we can subtract that out and then what portion of the building is the apartment that say on the,
I don't have the exact.
well, it probably says on the card, right?
Oh,
I don't have the full record part here, so let's, it's just the abbreviated version. It's hard to parse that out.
if we wait to the end of the meeting, I could probably get it because I had to do it for. Oh God, no, I don't think I'm gonna have that handy. It was in the appraisal when we got the, we redid the mortgage. But I don't have the percentage of the apartment handy.
So what if we make a motion to move based on a future number that I can provide on Monday?
Hmm.
Is that too
You know,
is that too loose?
that's loose, but I can make it work.
So
Yeah.
the,
It's not that loose if we specify what we want, right? So we're talking about the house value for, well, it was 14 and a half months, so we're talking about one tax year, that would be, it'd be 12 months, right? Or can we go,
14 months?
can we go the whole we can go back past a year,
I
can't we?
think we can do anything,
So
right?
we can do the 14 and a half, yeah. We can do all 14 and a half months of the full house, and then the apartment was an additional 4.5 months, a total of 19 for the apartment
Right,
out of
correct.
use.
that's right.
3 months of the house.
So we need to split I assume the house and apartment are one tax, one value. We need to split the values out,
Yeah, and
determine the tax rate for each of those, and then
correct.
do
Because
the
one's gonna be
monthly calc.
homestead, yeah.
I can send you the number that I have when I get home.
So for just the house for 14 and a half months, taking out the homestead number, I come up with 5541.90.
That's the tax. 5541.90.
0.9.
That was 14 months.
14 and a half. That's the full tax for 14 and a half months.
Because I hate to do this to you, but I have to take 3 minutes because I'm about out of power. I have to go get my cord. So talk amongst yourselves.
And we don't have the apartment. We don't know what percentage. So Tim,
That's the whole house.
that's the whole house, including the apartment. So we just need to know the apartment size for the extra 4.5 months, I guess.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's gonna be tax different. Instead of non-homestead. Geez.
Oh, good point.
Yeah, it's been scratch my head a little bit.
Oh, okay, so
I mean, we have, on the tax bill, you have the breakdown of what's, the total tax amount, homestead and non-homestead.
So you could back calculate it, but it'd be easier if I got you the square footages, right? Is that what?
well, we're going to add to this number because the 14 and a half covers both. 14 and a half months covers both, and this is the number for both. We need to add to this number the 4.5 months for the apartment only.
Is the apartment just the first floor or just upstairs? Or?
It's an upstairs apartment. Yep.
Can we get it from the?
Would that be there's a bill of $911 for the year. So can we break that down to 4 months? To get that number?
Oh, just the non-homestead part of it.
Yeah. Because I don't think the size of the apartment really matters.
What's the bill?
$911.70. Hold on. Wait. $1,265.90 of non-homestead.
1265.90. $474.71.
Okay.
That's
Plus.
1265 divided by 12 multiplied by 4.5. So you add those two together. You do that over?
No, I've got it written down.
$1,016.61. 601661.
Okay, so I will make a motion to abate 6,000.
Oh, can you be a little quieter back there so we can hear the motion?
$6,016.61 due to the uninhabitability of the house due to fire damage. But I am not moving to abate the water and sewer connection charges.
I'll second the motion.
Carrie, did you get that? I'm gonna guess she did. All right, so I can't.
Wait, hang on. Slow down 1 second. Sorry. I was typing, but I was typing in the wrong place. Okay.
I have a question. Are we adjusting for the land value or not?
Yes, that did adjust for that.
Okay, because I thought the 6,000. Oh, never mind. 14 months. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
You got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's been moved and seconded. Any other discussion?
Sorry, who seconded? Sorry.
I did.
Sal.
Sal.
Great.
All right, hearing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All
Aye.
opposed?
I,
Sounds like there's no opposed, so the motion passes. Thanks. All right, I
Thank you
appreciate
very
your,
much. It's a big relief.
I really appreciate your thoughtfulness and thoroughness with
Well,
this.
yeah,
It's
tried my best.
refreshing.
Your people said provide as much information as you can that's relevant. And even though you don't understand the process you provide, I hope it wasn't too much.
Oh,
And I
great.
realize it's crappy timing to ask for an abatement when, you know, the city is in the situation it is. So I really doubly appreciate it.
All right, we've got Jessica Dubetsky. Yep. Right. Let me get you sworn in here. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Right? Sworn in?
Okay, well, this started with I have a USDA rural development loan. My mortgage and taxes, property taxes are tied in together. And I've had an H&R Block do my taxes for as long as I can ever remember. I've owned my house since 2016, and I've always had the homestead declaration submitted. And I have no recollection of submitting it outside of H&R Block. And so this year, up through November, my mortgage payments were $842. And then suddenly I get a mortgage bill for $1,400 for December, January, February going forward. That's what it is, because somehow the homestead declaration didn't happen. And so I got taxed as if it wasn't based on my income at all, which I really need. So I am deeply in the red now, having had to pay this money out. Amongst other like financial hardships, which I really didn't know what this process was about either. I'm glad to hear that others also had some confusion, because it's kind of an awkward situation to be in. But I have just had my oil tank red flagged, cost of $3,500. I have no idea where that's coming from. And a deck that's crumbling down into my neighbor's property, that is getting pretty scary. So I have some major financial obligations that are urgent, and I have no, my income is, I work for Washington County Mental Health Services, which is a human services job that is low paying, and I'm just doing my best to make ends meet. And the financial stressors just keep piling on unexpectedly. So this jump in my mortgage was the beginning of it, and then I just have suddenly additional costs that are overwhelming. So essentially, asking for for a tax abatement for the year that the homestead declaration didn't make the adjustment for me. And just, again, to be able to take care of my property, including the oil tank and damage that is going to affect my neighbor's property.
Your request is 398.28.
I was going to check on this. She asked me, I didn't have that in front of me, so I'm hoping that's accurate, I'm assuming, based on the property tax bill.
While we're waiting for that, are there any questions?
So question, a homestead or a non-homestead? Looking at the tax bill, part of it says homestead, but then it says non-homestead education tax rate.
I don't understand that. That's the school tax?
Yeah.
You're being taxed out of non-homestead.
I don't know why that is.
Your homestead deck wasn't filed.
Okay, that's the,
So it's a different tax rate.
okay, so this is just confusing to me, sorry. Yeah.
Did you get your homestead declaration filed out?
Well, they said it was late, because I didn't know there was a problem until November, and that was due in October. I went ahead and put it through, got denied, and here I am.
What was Bev going to get? I didn't quite catch that.
I'm not quite sure. She was checking on the property tax amount or something related to the homestead declaration. I'm not really quite sure, to be honest.
We have the bill.
Yeah,
You
I'm
you
not
have a bill,
sure.
So, yeah, I don't know. Sorry.
And it seems very straightforward. I don't know, did anybody else have any questions? Should we wait for Bev or does somebody just want to make a motion?
I just want to make sure that this is going to take care of it for the year for her,
Mhm.
so we don't have to do it again.
Oh, right.
Because the homestead declaration, if that's not filed, you can't do it again until April of this year.
Oh, so, right, so I don't, again, I'm in the woods and information about how this all works.
I think what our question is the abatement of 398.28, is that going to take care of you for the rest of this tax year?
Probably not,
Okay.
yeah.
Is that a quarterly amount?
Check. I don't know.
Is there what?
I'm wondering, is the 398.28 the additional amount that you paid or that you were charged because you didn't file the homestead? Is that
so.
the basis that you're asking
Yes.
for? So I'm wondering if that's a quarterly amount
That makes sense.
and
Oh, that makes sense.
Yes.
Because you, on the tax bill, you would see, a state payment. If the homestead deck was filed under that 6196, there would be a state payment amount there. So I assume it would be that 398.28 times 4.
Times 4.
and Marty, when she files in April, that's not going to take effect till the July.
Correct.
So it does need to be for the whole year.
Yeah. So
1593.12.
yeah.
Well, I'll make a motion then
Okay.
to abate by 1593.12 on the basis that you would have qualified for the homestead declaration if you had realized you needed to file it.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any more discussion?
One question, how do we know what amount she would have received for the homestead credit?
I think that's what Bev was checking, but I'm just guessing based on that 398.28 that she's requested, that it's a difference of how much her tax bill went up because the homestead deck wasn't filed.
Okay, if it wasn't filed, then the state wouldn't know what her income was, and how would it calculate what the homestead credit would be?
Yeah, again, I'm just guessing by based on what she's provided as her ask.
Yeah, we're assuming the ask is
Yeah, we shouldn't guess.
We shouldn't guess. Okay.
I'm wondering why she isn't asking H&R Block instead of the city of Montpelier for that difference.
Have you asked H&R Block?
It's something I did not do yet, and I think I was waiting maybe for this tax year to come around for me to have this conversation with them. But no, because this all kind of happened quickly and I haven't had enough time to really sort through the details of it. It just was a surprise, and I don't understand how the calculations work in any of this, I'll be honest.
Well, that makes it more complicated.
Do we have any precedent in the past of people misfiling their homestead of reimbursing them, or is this a first?
I feel like we have, but I can't quote chapter and verse on that. I'm not sure.
Okay. She said she didn't have anything to back up, so I printed out, passing with it here, copies of her last 3 years. She came to me and said that while her taxes are being paid through her escrow, so she's not delinquent with us. So there wasn't anything I could deal with. What she is dealing with is the USDA, who pays her escrow, has asked for an increase in her monthly mortgage payment. Almost double to cover these taxes that they're paying. And the reason they're having to increase it is she did not get the usual state tax payment And she's probably already explained to you that had to do with the company she believes that filed her taxes didn't do it right. So it really, she's never been on my delinquent list. Well, she was once because USDA forgot to send us the check for all the mortgages, so it shows a payment, but they've now caught that up. I hope she's not being charged with that $123 on her account, but so that's why it's slightly different. She said, I can't afford to pay this amount. And part of the reason is because she didn't get her usual tax prebate. And I could have gone back quite a few years. She's always gotten more. This is actually, you know.
Yep.
So that's why it's a little different for me than the others.
So Bev, is the bottom number here, is that what the tax bill should be?
No, the
When
bottom
she
number
has-
is the last two payments due. And you'll notice that if you look at the first four charges on the current year, there's four charges evenly for the first payment, the second, third, and fourth payment.
Okay.
The first two payments have been made, and if you look after the second payment, that amount is what will take to pay the last two payments of the year.
But historically, how much were those state payments? That's what this is, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and and they've differed. She obviously has been doing a little bit better on income because
Sure.
the year prior to this, which I wanted to get all on one sheet, she was getting about 2,500 a year, and now she's down to about 1,200. Last year around 1,200, and I don't know whether her income was better, the same.
Yeah, I
or-
was working two jobs and now I can't time-wise do two jobs, so we'll
Yeah.
go back down a little bit more.
So you'll get more help from the
Yeah.
state. But what she's saying is she needs some help on her basic tax charge because she can't afford to pay what USDA is asking her to include in her mortgage payment now. But she's never been delinquent.
My best. I always do.
So the homestead,
She didn't get her homestead
But-
because she needs the
right, but last year it was 1,200. It was reduced by, the state reduced it by 1,200. And what you're saying is that the year she got nothing, but this year it would have been a little more?
I
Less,
don't know,
a
because
little
I don't
less.
know what her income
I'm sorry.
would have been, whether it would have been.
But
more or less.
you're saying your income was
Well,
less.
The year that I got less,
2023 is what?
Yeah.
Your rebate for this, for our tax year would have been based on, so.
Can you get over to the mic, Bev? I'm sorry.
Yeah, so the year that we're talking about,
Would have been
Would have
income she
been
earned. for
the income would have been higher or lower
well,
than,
currently it's lower than, so I had less, was working two jobs. I worked for the Vermont State Psychiatric Hospital and I worked for Washington County, but I was working two jobs I no longer can have time for.
but you were
so-
working the two jobs
Yeah.
in the year when you
The last
did
year
not,
you got it
when
for
you
two.
did not file so you filed for homestead that year.
Yes,
And she got the approximately $1,200.
yes.
Okay, that's what I want to know.
When did you stop working the two jobs?
Like early last, maybe halfway, maybe around May or June this year, but I was working like an on-call job at the hospital.
So your income in 2022 was similar to your income in 2023?
2022 is probably higher because I did have a lot more work through the hospital. They were short-staffed, they called me all the time. It was just more like, I had more opportunity to make money that I don't have right now.
So it sounds
I
like
work full-time, I have a full-time
So
job.
she thinks it might have been more.
if you had gotten the state assistance, it would have been at least 1,200 for the year,
least,
but
yeah.
maybe more.
That's what I wanted to establish. Yeah,
Yes.
and that it would, in 2023, yeah.
Folks, I sent out the quickest and dirtiest version of this form that I could without taking a break and going and scanning it. So I hope you all can read it online.
I think I already made a motion and it was seconded, right?
It was, yeah.
So we discussed it.
The discussion, yeah. Is there?
Numbers are different, aren't they?
Oh. I think I said, did I say 12 something?
Well, we were wondering about the
We had-
responsibility of H&R Block.
Oh,
We had 1593,
1593 and 12 cents is what was moved.
12 cents, yeah. That's what we moved,
1593.
which is in fact more than 12.
Okay.
It should work. Yeah.
Well, maybe we should adjust. I will adjust my motion.
The state payment 23-24 was 1209.
To be 1209.
Without,
Same as the previous year.
without objection, we will consider that amendment approved.
That 1209 even.
Yes.
Okay.
Does anybody have any thoughts on the likelihood of H&R Block?
I'll put it this way, if they give me the money back, I will pay you back. I promise you. Yes. Try, and I will get money back.
All right. Is there any more discussion? All right, hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed?
I
Motion
abstain.
carries.
Thank you guys so much. Very late, so I appreciate you like doing this.
You will probably have to provide.
Yeah, folks, we're moving really slow, but I'm inclined just to power through it. But if somebody needs a break, please speak up and let me know. Oh, we need a break. Okay. Two. Two left. Yeah.
This is 3 nights in a row. I want to go home.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're taking a brief break. Just, enough time for people to run and do their business and come back. So that Carrie, that breaks at 8:38. If you'd make a note of that. And that's the recess. And as soon as everybody's
45
back.
minutes on that first.
Good night, yeah.
Thanks for all the running around, Bev.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right.
Thank you. So what's the next one?
Next one is, and I am going to make a stab at this name. I apologize. I think you're online.
I am.
Moke Mate.
That's pretty close. It's Emeka Mate.
Oh, that was, Mate. There's an A there.
No,
That wasn't
it's no,
close.
no,
That
it's
wasn't even vaguely close.
no, it's Mate, M-A-T-E,
Mate.
and my first name is Emeka.
Emeka.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that was way off. Sorry
It's
about
okay.
that.
It's okay. It's okay.
Could have been worse.
Well, I've had many versions of it. Yeah. It's Hungarian.
Oh.
Okay.
Hi, John. This is Erica from Root and Branch Healing. I was on a very long car ride and I'm just making sure I didn't miss my part. I was on the Zoom call while I was driving from Boston.
Mm-hmm. And you're
Root and Branch Healing.
yeah, Root and Branch. No, you're almost here.
Thank you.
You're after this next coming one, and then you're our last one. So Rosie's back. Did anybody else run away? Is everybody here? I guess if you ran away, you wouldn't be able to answer. I'm going to assume that we're good to go here. So Carrie will reconvene at 8:41. And yeah, so you poor person whose name I can't pronounce, you have the floor.
Okay. Do I need to swear in or?
Yes, you do need to swear you in. Thank you. I'm moving a little too fast here. If you'd
Okay.
raise your hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Good catch. Thank you.
It's okay.
Getting tired and punchy or
I'm learning a lot about this, how this is working. I am here and I want to thank you for the opportunity to abate the penalty for a late filed homestead declaration in the value of the amount of $153.90. I want to give a little background about me. And my husband and I have never been late filing any of our taxes. We've been never delinquent on any of our property taxes. We've been owners of our home for over 20 years. And my husband passed away in March 2024. He was a veteran of 21 years of the Army National Guard. He was honorably discharged, and he went 2 deployments. So I just need you to know that, because he was one of the first guys to go in 2003. So since he passed, I had to ask for an extension to file our taxes. So I filed them correctly in October, was not able to get them done in April. So I'm asking for that amount to be abated. So that's it. Any questions?
Penalty isn't the normal penalty that we charge if you forget to pay your quarterly taxes on time. That penalty comes through when somebody in her situation couldn't pay in April. They get an extension on filing their homestead declaration. Now she could have, but in her situation, she couldn't have. But some people do file at least the homestead portion. And based on whatever they do, I guess, I don't know. So, but when the state finally sends us her new billing with the new state payment toward her taxes, down in the left-hand corner, very hard to see, there is a number and it's a penalty the state assesses to a filing like that, because of the fact that the municipality then has to do corrected tax bills and things. And you would think that they would be the one that the penalty be appealed to, but they say, no, the only one that can appeal it is the municipality that is collecting the tax. If they want to waive it, they have the right to, but we won't waive it. But it's not the normal penalty that if you're $1 short, day late.
So it's not under what's marked on here, the exemption amount available to certain veterans and their family members.
Well, I think she's just saying it's an added cost to her right now. That's hard.
Right, but I mean, that's not the criteria, the one
Isn't
that's
that
tracked.
inability to pay or something?
Okay.
She had, mother was, I believe if I got the right person, I deal with so many, but I believe you were the one that you lost your mother and.
Yeah, I lost my dad in August of 2023, lost 2 uncles that year also, and then my husband in March of 2024.
And she was away a lot.
And I was caregiving for my mother and father. Father, like I said, father passed. So my mother just had valve surgery in October, actually January. So it's just been a lot. And of course, I understand it might be a little amount to a lot of people, but I'm budgeting every penny. So I was advised to do this, and I appreciate, what you all do for Montpelier. But I'm just asking for a little help.
I move that we grant the request.
Second.
Second.
Just out of curiosity,
Never had this before.
yeah,
We got a lot of different ones. We never had these many requests that.
if we waive it, does the state, I'm confused about who
If you
ends
waive
up being
it,
responsible for it.
We just don't get, we
just don't collect it to cover our costs of mailing.
We would refund it to her because
Gotcha,
the
okay.
state has awarded it to us.
Oh, here we go. So that's 153.90. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's
I believe that's where it's done. It's the first one we've ever had.
so moved and seconded. Is there any more discussion?
I just want to clarify that we're doing this because of hardship and not because to make a precedent of paying all the late payments that people get from the state when they don't file their return on time.
It's hardship.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Okay, any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, nay. All right, the motion carries.
Thank you. Thank you for your time, everybody.
All right, root and branch healing.
Hi, everybody.
Let me swear you in here real quick. You would raise your hand. I can't see you, so I assume your hand is up.
Oh, you can't see me?
No, because I have the oath up in front of me. I'll see you in a minute. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, now I can see you. Okay. Yeah, so why don't you tell us what's up?
Hopefully this is a quick one to finish out your long meeting. I never received my personal property tax paperwork in 2024. So therefore I was issued a personal property tax bill. And I believe, oh, sorry. I believe I closed my P.O. box, which it was sent to. I had legally changed my business to my new home address as of July 2023 when I bought my home in Montpelier. So my P.O. box had been closed after it had been flooded, and that was a whole issue. So I changed my address from my P.O. box, and then I legally changed it with the city for my business to reflect my new home address. So I don't know why the paperwork showed up, the personal property tax bill showed up to my P.O. box. So what happened was it kept getting forwarded and forwarded until it finally showed up on my door after the first installment was due in 2024. So I brought the personal property tax bill in. Beverly encouraged me to get an abatement, and so I'm here. But I run a very small business. I'm a massage therapist. I have no more than $1,000 in personal property associated with my business. So I'm hoping to get some grace here.
I basically said to her, I have no options to help you. The only thing is an abatement, whether you will get it or not. I told her that was the only thing I knew of she might qualify for.
Okay. And you said $1,000 is a more appropriate assessment. Is that?
Yeah, I have a 5-year-old computer, a 5-year-old massage table, and some linens.
Okay.
Do we have any history on this account? Like, has it been filed previously?
I have filled out the paperwork in the past, yes.
It would have been filed previously, or there wouldn't have been. Yeah.
But it's been consistent.
You paid
I couldn't tell you.
paid that personal property tax in the past, or it's been you didn't hit the cap, so you didn't have to pay it.
The latter, correct.
So what she's saying is she never got the form to file, but if she had filed it, it would have been under the 10,000.
Correct.
I think we abated a bunch of these others because of the Montpelier post office.
Yeah, she said something about July.
Yeah.
And that's, yeah.
I will move to abate the amount requested.
Second.
Can you, someone say what the amount is?
$93.92.
Thank you.
And
And who seconded that?
That was the basic tax or,
Second.
but
Okay.
whatever the basic tax was will be waived, and then the fees, of course, go away automatically. So it's abated.
All right, there's a motion on the floor. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries. All right.
So just so I'm clear, I don't owe the $93?
That's right.
Right.
You're good.
And can you please clarify what my address is with my business? Because I thought I paid the money to change it.
What I've got is a mailing address. The description location is 7 Main Street, and the mailing address on your tax bill is P.O. Box 1353.
I paid money to change that. It should be it should be my home address now.
You want to just do this separately and not do
Yeah.
it on TV?
Yeah.
Yeah, call in tomorrow and talk to Serena.
Yeah, just give us a call tomorrow and
Thank
we'll
you.
take care of
Yes,
that.
Miss Serena.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, that's all our business, folks. So,
What about Mr. Evans?
no, we
moved Evan Richards
is
to
he-
the end.
oh, we moved
Hubbard Park Fire?
Evan to the end. You're
Yeah, 'cause he's
right.
not
Oh,
here.
I'm sorry.
But
He
they're
never showed.
told they don't have to be here.
Right. They don't have to be here, but this would be the second continuance, I believe.
But
Yeah.
I don't know what the questions were, but I visited this property a few months ago. And he's still looking for contractors. There's still holes in the wall where they were cutting to put the heating system back in. All the smoke damage has been taken care of, but he's still waiting for someone to finish up the sheetrock. So I mean, somebody could live there, but it's, there's holes in the walls everywhere.
is this
So-
the house on Hubbard Park
Yeah,
Drive?
his testimony on here was that he's still, I don't think he's even gonna be in there until this spring because they're still looking for a contractor to finish up.
Yeah, I don't remember what the questions were. It seemed pretty straightforward.
Yeah, it seems like, we have fires every year and they usually meet with know how much it needs.
And we all know how difficult it is to find contractors right now too.
I don't think I was here for this one.
Yeah. We did an abatement before, right? This is the second.
I think it was,
We never made a decision.
Oh, we didn't.
No.
There was someone had a question. I don't know what else.
Well, what do you all think? Do we want to hold off and
It's
see if we can figure out the question, or is it straightforward enough? We should just move on it.
seems to me it's a pretty straightforward request.
If somebody made a motion, maybe we could go with it then.
If I remember right, he broke it down pretty clearly.
Mhm.
A sixth, if you look at the request there, a sixth of the 2024 Q4 taxes, the total amount he's looking for is $12,283.34 because they cannot live in the home.
when did the fire happen?
Late December 11th of 2023. I think.
Well, for consistency, we should remove the value of the property.
So just,
Do we want to separate the land and the dwelling?
Yeah, and I wonder if this is going to be our typical practice. I wonder if we can sort of ask that somebody do the math on that ahead of each of these in the future. I don't know who would be appropriate to ask to do that, but
We'll figure
I'm
something.
kind of struggling with this one though, because they can't use the entire property. They can't live there. Same with the other.
I mean, that's how we've
I'm
handled
still-
all of them.
I know, and I'm still struggling with it though. But. So his request is not, it does not have the building parsed out, so we would have to calculate that.
seems important that we be consistent.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree. Then I guess,
I don't know if we have been consistent, if you consider
Not
the
pre-
substantially damaged structures that
Not
we've.
consistent to previous abatement years.
I can,
It
I
would be-
came,
As Marty says, the land value was not like if you had a fire like you had one up on Town Hill, I believe what happened was if you were out of it for 6 months, it was 6 months of the total bill.
that's how it was
abated.
handled on Town Hill
That's where it's
before,
been.
different.
It's only this year that the land value has been asked, I believe.
Yeah.
Well, I think the city's hurting for cash a little bit more. So we've treated everybody this year kind of in the same way. And I feel appropriate about that, given that everyone this year has been handled that way.
Yeah.
All right, has anybody done that math?
No.
Nope. I'm not sure what I'm mathing here.
gonna be tricky because there's all these fractions in the way he's calculated the value. Is the question.
Well, should we just start?
Make a
from the-
ratio there or?
Well, the building of this property is $212,000, $212,700
That's
of just the
value
building,
of
just the building.
the
Yeah.
building.
And what's the land value?
132,000.
But we don't need to know that.
Yeah, right. It's just the
House is
the house.
212,700.
So one way of doing it though would be to figure out what that ratio is and then just
Oh, I
apply
see
it
what
to
you're
his
saying.
math
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
we don't
so-
have to.
So what is, what is the land value? 130?
132,000.
And do we agree with what he asked for generally, other than?
His
taking-
math is pretty good. A sixth of 2023 Q4, and then all 4 quarters of 24.
So just apply 62% to the total he requested.
Well. What is the 62%? It's value of the value of the land.
No, 62% of the total tax bill is based on the value of the building. Oh, no. You have to add them together and then divide.
Right, yeah.
What could
I
you
have to divide 130, I have to, yeah, I have to start over again. I have to divide by 344, 132. 344, 7. So that it's 38, so it is, it's 62.
Okay.
It's the building is 62 and the land is 38%.
So we're doing it for 1 month or 12 months, I mean?
Yeah, I thought so.
Well,
Are we?
Yeah, the last,
we're doing 62% of the number that he provided.
and what he's asking for, because they were in the house until December 12th. So he's only looking for a sixth
Oh,
of Q4,
okay.
and then all 4 quarters of 24.
Don't listen to me.
So Rosie's suggestion was, instead of going through and doing all the quarters and so on, just find out how much, what percentage of the number that he came up with is the house only, and it's 62%.
So then 62% of that, I think, would be $5,139.67.
That's not what I got, but I might have done it wrong.
Did you use
I got
Sound right.
7,615,
There you
but
go.
I might have typed it in wrong.
7,615,
Yeah,
67.
that's what I got.
Yeah.
All right. I move to abate $7,615.67 on the basis of the property being damaged during the tax year.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, any more discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed, nay. Motion carries, and without objection, unless anyone has any other business, without objection, we will be adjourned at 9:01. And thank you all for your
No, what
patience. I
about
didn't know this would be so long, and also it was an attempt to cram everything into one meeting, so we wouldn't have to have two, and now we have to have two because we punted one, so
Wait.
could have
Don't
been
we
two
have
smaller
someone
ones.
waiting here? Wait,
Somebody's asking
Wait.
something online.
we
Oh,
have a,
hello?
don't we have a Moki?
We heard that one already.
We have a what?
Imok Mate.
Yeah, it was already
Already
voted.
did that.
All right, I didn't think we had, okay.
Was it sold tonight?
So
Ron, I'm having trouble hearing you. You're very quiet.
what was the one that you sent us the military information for?
That was that was Mate, and it wasn't appropriate.
Wasn't
It was
relevant.
incorrect.
Okay.
When she described it, it was not what she was actually asking for.
Margaret
Gotcha.
Murray is the one we pushed to.
And the Margaret Murray is the one we bumped.
Right. Okay. Very good.
All right. Well, thanks, everybody. That was a doozy. That was a record breaker.
Thank you, and I really appreciate the form for financial disclosure.
Do we need to formally adopt that? Because I really like that form and I think we
The
should.
financial,
Yeah.
I don't see why. Especially since we can't require anybody to use it. Yeah, we'll be getting it to everybody from now on.
If we can't require it, I understand that, but we should strongly suggest and really encourage, because we spent half of this meeting, trying to sort out very confusing information that form would solve.
Yeah, well, it's just like the basic form. We encourage everyone to do that.
Mhm.
Generally, they have been. So I
Yeah.
think it'll go the same.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you all. Thanks to the math people.
Good night.
Good night. Good night.